Everyone is getting ready for the first European race and the first triple header of the season, but Imola isn't looking ready at all. Italy is being hit with an enormous amount of rain, and when we're saying enormous, think about Belgium 2021, but even worse. The region has been in full lockdown in recent days as the situation is getting worse and worse. Could we see the Imola GP being cancelled? A rain race might be exactly what Formula 1 needs at this point in the season. Red Bull's domination is too much for most fans now, and the pure chaos that a rain race brings could tempt fans to tune in. But at what cost? In recent years, we've seen plenty of rain races, like Japan last year where Max Verstappen surprisingly took the Drivers' Championship after a fuss with the rules. We don't have to expect any fuss-ups with the rules this time, but can we expect a race at this point? Or are we going to experience Belgium 2021 all over again, where we're all just waiting for, well, absolutely nothing? Let's dive into the recent updates and find out if we're going to race at Imola this weekend. 2 weeks after the Miami Grand Prix, Formula 1 begins a 3-race weekend with the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix at the iconic Imola track. Heavy rain has plagued the Emilia-Romagna area of Italy, with teams and organisers hopeful that the severity would subside in time for the race weekend. The area will be hit by up to 50 to 100 millimeters of rain, up to and including Wednesday evening, which is expected to settle as we approach the Grand Prix weekend. Formula 1 has processes and settings in place to avoid the interruption caused by bad weather, such as remote broadcasting operations in the UK, while modifications to the circuit infrastructure have been made in the aftermath of the rain-soaked 2022 event. Any rain seen during the weekend will be less strong than the rain experienced during the week, but the danger of rain will remain throughout the weekend. Rain is more likely during free practice and qualification, with scattered showers of different severity. On Saturday, there is a bigger chance of rain, which may mean that the new qualifying format will not be implemented. Temperatures will be approximately 20 degrees Celsius on both days with moderate wind conditions. Rain is again a possibility on race day, although the greatest danger will be in the morning, with some dry intervals expected in the afternoon. However, rain during the race cannot be ruled out at this time, since showers are expected in the area on Sunday. Although the worst seems done after Wednesday, more storms are expected in the run-up to the Grand Prix weekend in Imola, only 2 weeks after the region was ravaged by flooding. Heavy rains have recently caused many rivers in the region to overflow, forcing widespread evacuations. The storm has even gotten so bad that staff and workers at the Imola racetrack have been instructed to leave due to severe rain in the Emilia-Romagna area of Italy on Tuesday. Several locations are already experiencing heavy rain, which has already begun to cause flooding, and the severe weather is predicted to last until Wednesday evening, just before the racing weekend. According to a source, staff at the Imola track have been advised to evacuate the circuit, albeit this is thought to be a precautionary move rather than an impending threat. Images of the soaked F1 paddock have also surfaced online. Formula 1 has previously stated that they were sure the weekend's activities would be minimally disrupted. The rain is forecast to lessen as the weekend approaches, but it will still play a role in the Grand Prix. It remains to be seen whether the weather will affect transport and logistics for the event. One thing is sure, all these storms have devastated the Emilia-Romagna area in recent weeks, and the Department of Civil Protection issued a red alert warning on Monday, predicting 100 millimeters of rain through Tuesday and a total of 150 millimeters by late Wednesday. Forecasts indicate that rain might persist until Sunday's race. A meeting has been held between the National Crisis Unit and local politicians to discuss the situation in the region, with the department noting, "It was shared the possibility that, in the areas affected by the red alert, the mayors could foresee, for tomorrow, the closure of schools and roads most at risk, starting from those near the banks and landslide areas. The invitation to citizens is to avoid travel as much as possible, and to resort, where possible, to smart working." Although the event is only a few days away, the latter notion appears to conflict with the likelihood of thousands of racing fans from Italy and other nations gathering in the region before the race. There is also the chance that car parks and spectator areas would be impassable owing to flooding. With Italy already experiencing a period of bad weather this month, resulting in storms and flooding, the situation shows no signs of changing this week. With high flooding dangers and following a meeting of the National Crisis Unit, Local mayors were urged to close schools and roadways that were at risk of being submerged. Citizens were encouraged to travel as little as possible. The tough scenario has unavoidably increased the likelihood of the Imola F1 weekend being disrupted, either for fans going to and from the circuit, or for the race itself. While the red alert status sparked rumours that the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix would be cancelled, F1 insiders are convinced that the race will go ahead. Teams and officials are on their way as planned. Wet weather operational procedures have been put in place, and event organisers are working hard to keep spectator facilities, including car parks, operational. F1 is well versed in conducting events in inclement weather, and this weekend's race in Imola will witness the premiere of a new Pirelli rain tyre that does not require preheating. Pirelli's head of car racing and F1 Mario Isola said, "Track tests have shown even better performance than the previous Cinturato Blue Full Wet, even without the electric heating of the tyre." The result of studies carried out by Pirelli, it is the first concrete step towards the use of dry tyres without preheating. As things are standing, the Autodromo Internazionale Enzo Edino Ferrari track in Italy will host the season's first continental European Grand Prix next weekend. However, for the second time this month, the weather in Emilia-Romagna is extremely poor. It begs the question, is the race's continuation in jeopardy? Earlier in May, several streets in Imola were inundated, forcing numerous individuals to flee. Code Red is in effect in the region again this week, therefore everyone is strongly recommended not to drive. On Tuesday, for example, 100 millimeters of rain are expected. The inclement weather might prove especially damaging for Formula 1, as teams are now setting up in the paddock. However, an Imola circuit representative said that Formula 1 fans need not be concerned. Despite the bad weather, and given that the weather forecast is improving, the race weekend is not at risk, he stated. However, drivers should be aware that the race next weekend will be held in rainy circumstances, like it was last year. The risk of rain on Sunday is expected to be 80%. Rain is also anticipated on Friday and Saturday. This may threaten the driver's qualification. In that instance, Pirelli's new rain tyres can be attempted. In the most recent update, the organisation said the Grand Prix will take place because everyone on and around the track has been requested to leave. There may be some delays in constructing the stands and hospitality. The scenario is extremely perilous due to the likelihood of floods. Will they be able to finish the preparations in time for the race weekend? Well, the answer to that is yes. They'll probably be able to finish everything just in time for the race. But at what cost? The river next to the track is flooded to the absolute brim. It'll only take a couple of rain showers more for the track to be flooded. And will this be something they will be able to clear in time? What are your thoughts on the current situation? Will the drivers be able to race on Sunday? Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. And what about this weekend's new and updated qualifying format? Well, if it will be driven in dry conditions, they will hold on to it. But what will it look like? Formula 1 qualifying at this weekend's Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix in Imola will feature altered tyre use guidelines. Not only will the number of total pairs of tyres per driver be decreased, but the tyre compound used in each section will be required. Currently, drivers are allowed to use whichever type of tyre composition they like throughout each leg of qualifying. However, most prefer soft rubber due to the quick grip it gives. This will not be the case for Imola. Drivers will be required to use white-walled hard tyres in Q1, with those progressing to Q2 only authorised to use yellow-walled medium tyres. The 10 drivers that advance to the pole position shootout will be able to use the soft tyres. Qualifying's 18, 15, 12-minute phases will stay unaltered. Furthermore, each driver's total quantity of dry tyres will be decreased from 13 to 11 for the weekend. It means that for the 3 practice sessions, qualifying and the race, drivers will have access to 3 sets of hard tyres, 4 mediums and 4 softs. The distribution of intermediate and wet tyres stays the same, so these will be plenty available for the drivers if they were to drive in the wet. That's all there is to know about the upcoming weekend for now. It remains to be seen if the drivers are going to race, but one thing is sure, they will drive in the wet. Or will we see another Belgium 2021 fiasco? Let us know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.